My name is Margaret, also known as Buddy MB. I am the content clearance advisor for the Memphis Music Bank. And so I also have the honor in being able to listen to the music before it actually gets into the bank. And so both of your tracks are wonderful additions to the Memphis Music Bank. And so there's one particular one that we'll talk about today, but we have none other than Mr. Elijah Pugh. Y'all give it up for Mr. Elijah Pugh. And his production company is Eli P Productions. Elijah, you want to say hello to the people?
Hello, everyone.
And so today,
hope everybody's having a good Saturday.
Exactly. And Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And so this track is called My Heart. And we're going to play it for you. And after we play it, we'll just talk about it. So after listening to that track, I just have some questions and we can just kind of, dialogue however you want to do it. But just to start off, what was your inspiration or what theme, I guess, were you going for when you created the My Heart track?
Honestly, especially like around the time that I made that track, I was actually taking piano lessons. And so what I like to do a lot of times is I like to incorporate, like, I've always got lessons in regards to, like, different ways to play chords and things like that. And so what I do is I take my practice and then turn them into a track. So I can kind of kill two birds with one stone, where, you know, I can practice one thing, and then because of that practice, I hear a melody or something that I really like, and then I make a song out of it. And that's kind of like, and because it seems like with my music, it kind of evolves. So like at one point of me making music, I'm making a lot of this type of music, and then at another point, I'm making a lot of this type. And I think it just depends on, you know, I think it's more of the type of music that I'm listening to at the time. Gotcha. And like, so I mean, I know it's not. I don't have like a huge inspiration to say like, oh, my heart was broken. And, you know, I was just wanting to write something like that. A lot of the times I just go with the flow. I mean, I'll start with some kind of melody. Usually, since I love using the piano, I'll create like a quick, I don't know, 4-bar melody loop or longer, and then just build from there. And it's just more I mean, music to me is all about a feeling. So I just wait till I just get that feeling like, okay, I like this. And sometimes when I really like it, I end up just listening to the same loop for hours. And then I realize, all right, I got to finish the track. So I can't just keep listening to it over and over again.
So that's what I was going about. How long does it take? That's why the next question was like, about how long does it take for you to know that, okay, this is it. Let me go ahead and start, you know, because I know sometimes you may start going one way and creating something, and then you may switch. But how long, I guess you would say that it may take for you to know that a song or a track is like, this is it, this is what I want? And do you have anybody else that kind of help and pitch in with you, or it's kind of on, you know, you solo?
No, it's all me. I mean, to me, I never think a track is a throwaway track. I mean, anything can be used. So what happens a lot of times is I'll create something where, you know, I'll feel like I've done as much as I could at that moment. And then I'll start off with a brand new track. And then what will happen is, if I'm trying to create a brand new track, and I just can't come up with anything, then I'll go back to my old projects and say, okay, well, what can I go back and finish? But this one, I think this one was one of those where I started it a while ago and then came back to it and finished it. Gotcha. But it really depends. I mean, some days I'm just flowing where I can knock out a track in about an hour and a half. And then some days it might take me a couple days to finish. So
you said with My Heart, was My Heart kind of one of those quick ones, kind of where you got it and you stuck with it, or how you said, or you went back to it? Was it something that was going on, or you just felt like, let me stop for a minute and go back to it? What was like with your pause, when you pause?
I mean, it's just, I can't come up. I mean, I don't like to force. I mean, I'm like
force something.
Really, yeah, I'm like really. I feel like creativity. You know, you don't want to try to force it too much. Yeah. Even though I think there's certain exercises where you need to practice really making yourself start and finish a track. But a lot of the times, I mean, unless you're actually, that's what your goal is, to practice starting and finishing a track within a certain amount of time, which is, you can do that. But when I'm just making them, you know, just like, for example, now I'm trying to make a new track every day. So I'm on like day 58. And so now I don't have the time to just be skipping around projects. I have to finish them. Yeah. So it kind of just depends on what kind of deadlines I have. And you know, I'm a very visionary type person. So my thing is, I like to put myself in situations that I feel like, as a film producer, what would I have to do? And a lot of times, you know, they'll give you maybe 24 hours max to come up with the track. And so I like to put those kind of deadlines on myself just to be ready. You know, people always say, you know, everybody's expecting failure, but nobody ever prepares for success. So that's what I try to do.
That's true. And I heard you say you play the keys. Now, do you play any other instruments with the My Heart track, or was that just strictly keys? And what did you use with the My Heart track?
Keys.
All keys on My Heart?
All keys.
Wow. What
all
software
keys.
do you normally use to do your plugins and everything? What software you normally use for with My Heart?
So actually My Heart was using my older plugins, which so I mean with my strings and stuff, I was using East West, which I was using their subscription service. But and then for the piano, I mean I used the stock FL Studio piano. I mean I think it sounds good enough, and I mean you can always tweak it a little bit to make it sound a little bit better. But
exactly. Do you have? I know you say you create. Now with this My Heart, did you have any artists or I guess anything or anybody in mind while creating it? And if not, who do you think you maybe can hear on My Heart, like an artist?
I don't know. I mean, I used to get in, and some people do that. I mean, I used to get into that where it's like, okay, well, who can I hear on this track, and then put it on YouTube and say this type beat or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I may be shooting myself in the foot by not doing it, but in the end, I make the track for myself, and I make it so that someone can listen to it and feel the same type of emotion that I hear in it when I hear it. And so, I mean, because when I say I just create the track, I'm not saying that I'm just throwing it together. I mean, I listen for the emotion in the track and try to bring that emotion out. I mean, I normally follow the same formula with all my tracks, where I'll start with a very mellow beginning and then change it up in the second half to be more of a either uplifting or kind of bring more tension, so I can have a resolve at the end. Exactly. And that's kind of like that's my my formula for everything, and that was similar.
Do you use many samples? Did you use any or do you mostly just try to stick with strictly keys, strictly original? Do you use any samples of any sort for the most part?
No, not really. Just all my keys.
How do you like? I see your setup where you at right now, but how do you like? Because I've co-written for some other people, and it's different depending on the setting that you're in, how you create. What is your atmosphere or your setting? Do you mostly do your stuff? Okay, I have to be in the studio, I have to be around, or is it mostly where you just your own home or on a couch and just kind of writing your ideas, or do you have to be in a certain setting to create that Elijah sound?
I mean, ideally, I like to be in my own home, but that's why I got this baby here, which is my portable keyboard, so I can. Awesome. I mean, when we were, when we were able to go to work, I was leaving a keyboard. I left that keyboard at work, and I would work on music at lunchtime, in a dark closet. So, I mean, I try not. I never want to limit myself to where I create, because you just never know. Because I mean, if I'm on the road and I get a call and somebody tells me, "Hey, I got a $15,000 job for you. You need to create a track for me." I can't be like, "Oh no, I'm not at home. What am I gonna do?" So I mean, like I said, I just want to be prepared. And
and you're out prepared. Do you find it? I mean, I know there's something that comes with the time, and can you maybe say or mention maybe a moment in your production career where it was a lesson learned, so it was like, okay, I can't do that again, because that's how, in my mind, that's how I look at any artist or anybody who does anything. It's not trying to do perfect and be perfect, but when you make those mistakes, how you can get up. And we did Richard Wilson, he had a track about just getting back up and completing what you had. So what is something maybe that you can share just briefly about that has happened in whether it was working with someone else or to where it was like it changed your mindset on how you created or produce?
So, I mean, my music career, I mean, at least as far as producing, is pretty short. I mean, it'll be 2 years in September. So I'm still fairly new to the production game. But from, you know, what I've learned so far, I would say the biggest thing is, of course, you want to finish tracks and all that, but I think the biggest thing is your support system.
Yeah.
And, you know, making sure you have a really sound support system. Because I'm telling you, I mean, the way my personality works, I'm like one of those like super hyper focused people for like 6 months and then I'm done. So this is actually probably the longest I've ever, you know, really been focused on something. So I think my support system has probably been the biggest thing that's helped me. And because of that, like I have a mentor who my piano teacher, and you know, he's always taught me, you know, his expression is always, you know, the best pottery maker is the one who makes the most pottery.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like the mindset that I always try to keep. And, you know, no matter, and another phrase he always tells me is that perfection is fluid and dynamic. So, you know, your perfect today is going to be different from your perfect tomorrow. So when you're seeking perfection in your tracks, don't focus so much on making it perfect. Make it good for that day and finish it for that day.
If this was a producing church, when I tell you would have an offering bucket, but that's so true, Elijah. That is so true, and that's why I want to.
But that.
Go ahead. But
I'm saying, but that's why it's important to have that support system, because I would have never had that mindset in the beginning. I would have just been like, I'm tired of doing this. I don't feel like doing it. I'm about to move on. But because of that, because, you know, and, you know, I know some people tell you don't tell people about your goals, but I think you should tell people, because even though there are a lot of haters out there, there are also a lot of people who would help you. I mean, and it's just about, you know, you can feel the energy. I mean, you know somebody's, they're not trying to help you. Because I've met people like that where I knew they weren't trying to help me. But then you meet there's other people who genuinely want to help you. But I will say, nothing is free. So, I mean, I'm not saying you should pay like $1,000 to get somebody's help. But, you know, like paying for studio time or paying for piano lessons. I mean, I think, you know, that's a good way to, you know, meet people who will have your best interests at heart, because they know you're willing to invest in yourself by spending some money. Yeah. So
that's true. So what are you working on? I know you say you're doing, so what's the name? Do you have a name for the sessions that you're doing now? Your project, if I'm saying it, if that's not the right word, that you're producing a track every day. What's that, you know, your goal on after you finish all that? Are you gonna like do a compilation of it, or you just trying to, what's that? Or you just wanna, or is this like another work ethic to where you are training yourself to be able to do that? Because like you stated earlier about what your piano teacher said about making the most of whether it's perfect, because this is what I realized, the same track that may not touch you, it maybe could touch somebody else. And so that's my whole thing of when it comes to music and what music you have in the bank right now, like My Heart, the Lies You Tell, that's you know, definitely everybody's favorite, but it's always at that 1 minute and 54 seconds. Like when you get to that 2 minute, you raise the bar, and you can tell your transition, not just instrument wise, but I can feel, and that's what every song is, if you feel that emotion, that change, and you do that so well. If y'all have not checked out Memphis Music Bank, Elijah Pugh, make sure you check his music out. Go to his Facebook, his Instagram. Support. You know, this is someone that, like you said, he just started in the game, but you're still learning. What's your whole, with the one track a day, what's your whole goal on doing that? Is that just to, you know, bring that I'm trying to think of the word. I was talking to my sister the other day. She said, I don't know what word you thinking about. I said, but you know when your mind is be going so many places, you're like, now, what is that word? But what's your end goal with the track a day?
So the biggest thing is efficiency. I want to be more efficient with my workflow. Mm-hmm. And then it's just, I mean, you talk to the greatest. I mean, whether it's someone playing basketball, someone being a writer or anything, and it's consistency. Mm-hmm. I mean, and doing this just forces me to be consistent. And I mean, it also forces me to be more efficient with my time. You know, I can't just before I could just start the track and be like, oh, I get to it tomorrow. But now I got to be like, oh, no, you got to finish it. Like you got to, and like, you know, before, you know, I would just crank out like projects, and I just have like a bunch of projects unfinished, and then I just go to the next day. But now I don't even have the time to keep making projects because I got to finish something. So that's the biggest thing. But, you know, what I've learned and what, you know, my mentor also used to tell me is that I'm building my catalog. And because of, and, you know, honestly, I've had more opportunity because I've been doing this. And like, for example, I had one track that I made, and then someone reached out and said, and I did like a theme song competition. And I just pulled one of the tracks from my 365 days, and then I sent it to an artist. I said, hey, can you rap on top of this for a theme song? And it got picked. So now I got the theme song for this organization. Yeah. And then, you know, I've got a couple other tracks that, you know, like I said, I work with this artist, and he's a very talented artist, but he put his rap on it. And I mean, I think it's a very marketable track. But I would have never done that if I hadn't pushed myself to make a track every day. So, I mean, a lot of the music, and the thing is, unfortunately now I make them so often, I don't even remember the songs anymore. So I'll go back and listen to my music and I'm like, oh, dang, I made that. I forgot about that. Because, I mean, I got to get it like the last one, not the last one I made, but the one before that, I was like half asleep making that. And like, I was like, man, I hope this mix comes out good. Because I'm like dozing. I'm like just dozing off while I'm making it. I was like, but I gotta finish it. I gotta finish it.
What day did you say you're on now? What day are you on now?
Day 58.
58. Okay.
So I got a long way to go.
Gotcha. So what's your goal? What's your goal with the how many songs? Did you say? I don't know if you said that earlier, but what's your goal on doing?
It's just like I said, it's just to be more efficient and also to build my catalog. Yeah. I mean, it'll just be more songs that are, you know, marketable that, you know, somebody might want to use. Yeah. So
now, my heart and the Lies You Tell, those both are instrumentals. Now, do you, what's your process on getting, I guess, songwriters or artists to listen to? I know you say you sent a rapper your music. Do you normally send it out, or do you normally just kind of, I guess, in a circle of if someone's looking for something, you kind of there, or how do you normally, you know, because I think that's the thing of, you know, because the whole purpose of with the Memphis Music Bank is to making sure that you are, you know, you're able to monetize and what you're doing with your music, and this journey that you're on, it's about capitalizing that. And I just see not just the after this is done, but just to see what you've come up with is just going to be amazing. So what is that process of that?
So you know, people say, and you know, I could probably be doing it, but getting on Instagram and DMing artists and sending them beats and stuff like that. First of all, you know, I have nothing against beat makers, but I want to be a composer. I want to call myself a composer. That's why, you know, I really focus a lot in my tracks on string arrangements. And like even on my newer tracks, I put a lot of emphasis on my strings and brass and kind of get the whole symphony in, because I want to be more of a composer. I want to be able to score a film, which I might be scoring a film fairly soon. I'm supposed to be doing some music for a trailer soon. So we'll see if I can get that done. But as far as like artists, I mean, the only like the artist, like I've got a release coming out with one of the artists that I work with. You probably know him because I know he knows everybody. But Thomas Spurlock.
Yeah, I know Thomas.
Yeah, so I've got a release coming out with him, and like I met him at a art show. But like I said, I talk to everybody about the fact that, you know, I'm working on music. And no, I don't do it full time, but it's a passion of mine. So I feel like if it's a passion, you should tell people about it.
Yeah.
And because of telling people about it, I've made connections and met people. Because I met Thomas, and then Thomas has introduced me to other people. And then, you know, I've gone to Memphis Music Bank events. I make sure I network there. And because I think I met the artist, the rapper that I work with, I met him either in a Memphis Music Bank event or a something at the Slim House. Okay. And I mean, it's just literally just like, hey, what do you do? You're an artist? Yeah. Cool. Let's exchange contact info. Yeah. And I mean, you know, just keeping in contact with people, and then, you know, we start working. So
do you what is it that you want the main goal after the lights are off and everything is done? The last Eli Pugh catalog that's standing, what is that sound, or what is that, you know, emotion that you want to give off to the world? Because both of the ones that I've heard, as well as I believe I listened, I think I did listen to the Thomas Spurlock, because I think he played a snippet of it on
he's been playing it.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh my god. And so what is that main, because, you know, with your being a composer, you spoke about being a composer versus just a beat maker, and some people don't know the difference between, you know, a composer having that ear and like you stated, you listen and you put certain things into your instrumental so it can pull out, versus, you know, beat maker, they and sing you something and not have a heart or sit down and listen to it, because they probably then sent it to like 20 or 30 other people, you know. But to have somebody actually to compose something for you, that makes a difference. And so for you to say that means, and that you know that that's going to go further than just making a beat. What is that mean, and that ending that you see your production just going to in the future? You know, even with this shutdown, I know things have changed, the way we've done things, you know, so just seeing how the pace is moving, what's that end vision for Eli Productions?
I mean, like anybody, you know, everybody wants to be immortal. Mm-hmm. And, you know, one way to ensure your name lives on for long after you're gone is to leave a legacy. And when I say leave a legacy, I mean, people will never forget Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones will always be remembered for the music that he created, the people he was in contact with, the people he helped. And so, I mean, that's kind of like what I want to do. I want my music to continue to live even after I'm gone. And, you know, I want to instill, and that's, I mean, I try to work with, you know, other artists who are up and coming. I may not make music for them, but I'm always going to give them an encouraging word and try to make time for them to make sure that they stay encouraged. Like
Elijah, that's not Elijah, and that's all that as not even just the music community, but as a people, just and I love the title of the track, My Heart, you know, just going into just the vein of what's going on in the world today. And I believe, and I'm pretty sure you agree, that music brings everybody together. I've sat and watched older, younger people from different ages and ethnicities listen to this one song, and it touches everybody, and no one cares about what color of that person's skin who produced it. All they know is that made me feel great. That helped me get out of a bad situation. That made me. And so for you, and as an artist, as a producer, you put in your soul and your experiences and your music. That's what's going to continue to live on, and that's going to be that legacy that you live. And so, I mean, that you leave, you know, because you're living it. And so I applaud you for that ethnic group of continuing to do a track day. I mean, because that takes time, it takes loyalty, and faithfulness,
it hurts,
you know, dedication.
It hurts.
But for you to do that, you know it's going to pay out in the long run. And not all check this out. Not all beat makers are doing that. That's something, that's something that you have, that they only do it on a project money basis. If I get a download or a cash out, then I do it. But you're doing it on the vein of,
well,
I need.
I think there are a lot of beat makers out there who are like busting out like 5-6 tracks in a day. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they're, and like I said, I don't knock anybody's hustle. Make your money.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all about, you find your way, you're making money. Yeah. And I have nothing against it. But me personally, that's just what I want to do. So like with me, because nowadays, I have a Splice membership. I can go on there, find, some melodies, chop them up, throw some drums on them, and then be done with it. But what I personally want to work on melody creation, counter melody creation, creating certain emotions within a track. And, that's why, I actually applied for, there's a mentorship program with the consortium. Okay, and so I applied for that because I know in that class, they teach you a lot about how to create music that connects to people, whether it's emotionally or even just to make someone dance, to be more, because I want to be more intentional with my music. And that's kind of like, now I feel like I can make a track. I mean, that's not that hard for me. And the biggest thing now is being able to have an idea and put that out. And honestly, I personally feel like I work better. I mean, I love pressure. So I work better when someone says, I want this, and create it, rather than not having a direction at all and just going out there and creating.
And the best things come out of stuff, like the best creations come out of those moments where people are able to see and hear different things from you that you didn't even know yourself. So that's great. Exactly. Well, I definitely appreciate you. I don't want to take I know you have your baby dogs for fathers to take care. But I just
they're good now.
Thank you for just spending time and just talking about your music as well as your process. And like I said, I wish you nothing but the best, many blessings. I would definitely keep you posted on what we have coming up. You all make sure you check out Elijah Pugh on Memphis Music Bank. That's BANQ.com. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend, Elijah.
Thank you. Yeah, my day is pretty much done. I went on like a 60-mile bike ride this morning.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not doing much more. I want to hit 100. I wanted to hit 100.
Oh my goodness.
It's so hot out there.
Just around the neighborhood kind of, or you?
No, I mean, it was from like East Memphis to downtown.
Oh,
then a little bit through downtown. I know.
There's a lot of hills and all this, so
there's some hills. But all right, so I mean, if people who know my personality, I mean, I don't know moderation. So either I'm gonna do it or I'm not gonna do it. That's why even with the music, I'm not gonna have like I'm gonna make a track in 10 days. No. I'm going to make a track every 365 days. Like when I did running, I used to run. I ran a 5K and then decided I wanted to run a marathon. There is no in between. And, I did it. I ran 2 that same year. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just my personality where if I put my mind on something, there's nothing. Not even my body falling apart. That's going to stop me from reaching that goal.
I definitely love my heart. I love the lies you tell. I love everything you're doing. Y'all make sure y'all keep in touch with Elijah. Elijah, you have any last words that you want to share with people?
I mean, follow me on Facebook. Like I said, I make a video for every track I make before I post it. So, I mean, if you want to hear me talk about my music, I talk about it there. And follow my journey. I keep everybody up to date with my journey and my music. And, all the way up until I get up to the Grammys and the Academy Awards.
Hey! I will never do it. You got to speak it loud. Well, you enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Nothing but blessings towards you. We'll definitely see you at the Grammys. And we'll look for hearing from you soon.